What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another live stream on high altitude investing. Today is the 5th of March 2026. Decided to hop on a live stream today. It seemed like a good day to hop on and go live and talk about crypto, and so that's what we're doing. Let's pull up Bitcoin here. I always like to start with Bitcoin. It's one of my favorite setups in the whole market. So let's pull up old BTC here and take a look at what's happening to Bitcoin. Let's drop down to the 45-minute time frame. Take a look at what's happening here on the 45-minute. So Bitcoin started to move up off of these lows. As you can see, we started to bottom out right here on Bitcoin, started to move up off of these lows, and now we hit 74,000 per coin, and we're really starting to reject here back down to support. So this looks like an ABC correction to me right here. You have A, B, and C. Kind of similar to what happened right here as well, where you have an ABC down like this, or even similar to what happened right here as well, an ABC down like that. Very similar kind of structure, even right here as well, A, B, and C. So the whole way up we've had these ABC corrections, right? So it's no surprise that we're having another ABC correction currently. We should see some type of a move up off of this support floor right here, this support floor down at 70,000 per coin. We should see some type of a move up off of those lows. This should take us up through resistance. So we've got our resistance up here, 74,000. We should be able to break up through, so long as this support level holds right here. Obviously, we're really dependent on whether this support level holds or not. But I do believe it will hold, and I do believe we will get a push up through with Bitcoin up through 74,000 per coin in a very significant sort of way. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here with Bitcoin, is to watch for that bottom formation to continue to play out, this double bottom that we really started to form back over here. Watch it to continue to play out, watch for it to continue to break bullish. And if we do get above resistance right here at 74,000, that will really confirm this double bottom pattern. We did technically break through the neckline, so here's the neckline right here, and we did break up through that neckline. So we did technically confirm the pattern, but the thing is with breakouts, unless you get like a clear breakup through, it's usually not very powerful. Like you can have a false breakout. So we still need to hold support on this neckline and keep pushing up through to really give us a strong, clear breakout on Bitcoin. But I do believe we will break up through, personally, up towards 90,000 per coin. Because here's a major area of liquidity right here on Bitcoin. You can just see, even going all the way back over here, 90,000 was a very key level for Bitcoin. There's a lot of liquidity on Bitcoin, even back here along the way up. So I do believe we will go back to this major area of liquidity at 90,000 per coin as an area of, basically the market likes to move in magnets. So you think of it like, this is like a magnet up here. This is where the liquidity is at. So it's kind of like, almost like it's sucking the like a magnet, sucking up the price of the asset up towards that area of liquidity. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen here with Bitcoin, is that we will push up towards this major area of liquidity and really start to turn around here in a pretty significant way. Now, if we get up through 90,000, if we break up through 90,000, that's pretty much confirmation that the bear market is over and that we'll start a bullish move for Bitcoin. Obviously, we have to confirm that level to be broken above, but if we get above 90,000, I'd be pretty confident that Bitcoin has bottomed out and that we have started a new uptrend up above 126,000. So that's kind of my view on Bitcoin. Let me go share the link everywhere before we really get started and go in depth like I normally do. Let's go over to X here, post the link here on my X account. Go over to Discord and post on Discord as well. I don't believe that I posted on either platform. Let's go over to the live chat. Operation Shutdown, what is up, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Matt Osty says, another surprise stream. Heck yeah. Well, yeah, heck yeah. Thank you for taking some time to tune in today, brother. Verguth69 says, I lost all my money buying all the altcoins you told me to buy, specifically theta. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, sometimes the market pulls back. You think it's going to be the bottom. You go for one more low, shake everybody out of the market. Then the real recovery happens. Then you get the real pump. That's really what happened. I've been calling a bottom on theta for a couple of years now, about a year and a half, and we just went for one more lower low. But the big picture, the macro is really the same. Like, if you look at the macro for theta hasn't changed. It's the same macro setup. So I do believe we will get a full recovery on theta, a full breakout back up to a new all-time high. So if you look right here with theta versus Bitcoin over here on the right, let's pull a Bitcoin over here. We'll keep theta over here on the left, right? Bitcoin is just one example. Actually, let's pull up Ethereum. It's an even better example of a market cycle fractal, right? So let's pull up Ethereum over here, and let's pull up Ethereum on the coin, the ETH USD on crypto instead of on a specific exchange. Because if you use this crypto one right here, ETH USD crypto, this one will give you more accurate price for Ethereum. If you look right here, and if you look, there's a lower low on Ethereum. So if you're looking at Ethereum, not on Binance, not on Poloniex, not on whatever, if you're just looking at Ethereum on the crypto chart right here on TradingView, then you'll get the true historical data. And if you look right here, we do have one more lower low on Ethereum. So Ethereum did the same thing. Ethereum made a false bottom. Everybody would have been calling a bottom, or a lot of people would have been calling a bottom. Then it made one more low here in March of 2020. Now that does not pop up on the Binance chart, but that is on the normal crypto chart for Ethereum. Now if you're looking at theta, that's exactly what happened. So if you feel like, man, why did I lose my money? How come theta went down another 50%? Well, we're looking at the macro here on my channel. The main purpose of my channel is macro big picture analysis. So that's why I'm always zoomed out here on the 8-day time frame, always showing people, hey, buy the dip, buy the correction after these big drops. If you buy that dip, if you buy the correction, you're able to really make a lot of money on the pump that comes afterwards. So that's kind of my view, right? Buy the dip. Even if you buy the dip and it goes down for one more low in the big picture, my trading strategy is essentially accumulate stuff at the bottom of market cycles in the big picture, because that's what's been the most profitable for me personally. Like, the most money I ever made was in 2017. Basically, the way that I was able to make all that money in 2017 was buying the dip on Bitcoin after the 2015 bear market had happened, and Bitcoin looked exactly like Ethereum right here at this price point. So when I look at stuff like theta, I'm like, man, theta looks exactly like Ethereum at that same point in the chart. And it just reminds me of when I first got into crypto back in 2015, and I was buying Bitcoin at, around $200 per coin before Bitcoin went to the moon. So that's my view on theta too. So yeah, it sucks that the portfolio is down right now. That's part of the game. Like, just keep holding on. You're going to come back from it. You're going to make money. Hit the like and sub button below. Well, thank you for telling everybody to subscribe. Good morning, Dallin. Well, good morning to you too. Hexalot says, let's go. Let's go, brother. Thank you for tuning in. All right, cool. So let's go back over to the total crypto market cap for a minute and talk about that. Total crypto market cap. Take all our drawing tools off. So essentially, the way that I personally look at this market, I know a lot of people have different ideas about what the market cycle is going to do, but the way that I personally look at this market, I like to look at Apple. As Apple started to break out, as Apple started to become the biggest company, the biggest publicly traded company in the world until Nvidia took over, right? But I like to look at the Apple stock because Apple kind of represents new technologies being adopted by the public. In the case of Apple, you're talking about home computing and the internet kind of combined into one stock, getting mass adopted by the public, and kind of what it looked like. And that's fundamentally what I believe. I believe crypto will be mass adopted by the public, that it will be something that everybody uses on an everyday type basis. And so that's how I look at crypto. And so that's why I look at stuff like Apple and say, hey, Apple actually does look a lot like the total crypto market cap right now. Like if you look at Apple back in the day when Apple was still kind of ramping up, before it really went parabolic, when it was still kind of ramping up like this, and then it went super parabolic and went to the moon. To me, the total crypto market cap is really similar to that same point here on Apple. So when I think of what's going to happen to crypto, I think, well, crypto is going to pump really hard, just like what happened to Apple computers, where Apple computers totally pumped to the moon. Apple totally just ramped up and went parabolic and had a proper bull market, was adopted by the public, and that's the position that I take here with the total crypto market cap as well. It looks crazy similar when you look at these two charts. So that's the position I take on crypto. I'm pretty confident that that's what's going to happen and that we will get a big pump in crypto. So when I think about the total crypto market cap, I think of, hey, the total crypto market cap right now is worth $2 trillion per, market cap of all of the cryptos combined. $2 trillion. We peaked out at 4 trillion. It wouldn't surprise me to see someday to see a 10,000 or 10 trillion, crypto market cap. That wouldn't surprise me to see a move up towards 10 trillion. And in fact, if crypto really is what people say that it is, which I believe that crypto is, I really believe in crypto as a technology. It's cool. It's changing the world. It's powerful. It's the technology. Blockchain as a technology is actually super useful. Like it solves a lot of like big problems, like the double spend problem, databases being able to be hacked easier, just stuff that's like pretty like big real world problems, So blockchain solves those problems just like how the internet solved like a stupid amount of problems for people, just like how home computing solved a bunch of problems. Crypto is solving a lot of problems, not only in terms of just being able to send money peer to peer over the internet, but also being able to truly like tokenize the block or tokenize anything on the blockchain. Like you're talking about being able to tokenize stocks, tokenize real estate, tokenize gold, tokenize all these different things. There's no surprise to me that crypto has grown as much as it has because of the actual use case for crypto being as big as it is. So I believe 10 trillion per total crypto market cap is 100% possible. And ultimately, if crypto really is what people are looking for, what it claims to be, which I believe that for the most part that it is, there's obviously some scams out there and some exceptions. Crypto, we should see a big pump in the total crypto market cap to 10 trillion per total crypto market cap, but we could even go higher. We could go towards, 15 or 20 trillion in the big picture. Nobody knows. If you look at it, if you just look at the total crypto market cap over here on the left, and you look at the Apple computers over here on the right, if you're just looking at the chart, and if this really is the same point in the cycle, right, if this right here truly is this right here, then imagine how much crypto could potentially grow over the next, I don't know how many years, maybe from now till 2029 or whatever. But ultimately, this is a huge potential opportunity for a lot of profit with crypto. So I'm a big believer in crypto. I'm a big believer in the fundamentals of what crypto does and the future price action of crypto in the big picture, and I'm really excited about what's coming. I woke up super early, so I know sometimes in my live streams I'm like super enthusiastic and like really hyped and stuff. I've been awake since 3:30 this morning, you guys. So my voice is like a little bit more calm today. Normally I'm a little more hyped and crazy about it. Maybe when I get more into it as we keep going in the stream, then I'll probably get a little bit more fired up. But yeah, crypto is looking good. I love this setup. I love the potential opportunity for profit here in terms of the pump that could come for the total crypto market cap. It could be insane. It could be way bigger than what a lot of people think. So just don't be surprised if we start to break out here with the total crypto market cap in a very profound sort of way, kind of similar to what happened right here. You know, where Apple at the start was ramping up kind of slowly, like this. And then all of a sudden, boom, Apple started going vertical. And then started going even more vertical and even more vertical. And that's what parabolic means. Right? You guys probably hear me say all the time, oh, it's going to go parabolic, it's going to go parabolic. Some of you guys don't even know what parabolic means. Essentially, parabolic is a very simple thing. It's where the price gets steeper and steeper and steeper, just like a skateboard ramp would get steeper and steeper and steeper as you go up. That's what parabolic is. So this is a parabolic curve in a market right here. And that's what Apple did. You can see Apple started out pretty steady, pretty sustainable, and then it went into this very parabolic, very vertical kind of move afterwards, which we see took us all the way up to $288 per share of Apple computers. And by the way, if you look at this from the bottom of the internet bubble to the current price that we're at today, you're talking about 100,000% gain. That is crazy. I believe that's either 100x or 1,000x your money. I think that's 1,000x, because I'm pretty sure that because 10,000% is 100x. So 100,000% is 1,000 times your money from the bottom of the internet bubble up to where Apple is at today. Isn't that amazing what happens when something gets adopted by the public? When it goes from just being something that people are kind of excited about, the nerds are excited about, the people that are innovators are excited about, into something that's actually like truly adopted by the public. Because the internet bubble right here was, this is when people were just nerdy about the internet. People were in a bubble phase, but once it really got adopted, it grew a lot. It was a pretty profound type of growth here on Apple. So I do believe crypto will do the same thing. Like, I have a firm belief that that's what's coming for crypto, is that we're getting ready for that big parabolic type of run with the total crypto market cap. In the big picture, we're headed into mass adoption, because that's what happens to new technologies when there's a lot of demand for something. So fundamentally, what I want you guys to remember is that demand drives price, right? See if I can draw this. So demand drives price. So if you're looking for, if you want to make a lot of money in something, find something that either solves real world problems, and it solves real world problems well enough that there's demand for it, or find something that people just like meme coins. People get attached to meme coins. They sell that, they share them, they go viral on X and stuff. And so if you think about it, meme coins, the demand in meme coins comes because people like them. It's not because it's solving some real world use case. Some meme coins do. Some meme coins play into the meme coin for marketing, and they also have real technology behind them as well. But for the most part, most meme coins get all of their demand from just the fact that the people are excited, that they like it, that it's cool. And that's what I believe is the fundamental driver for the markets. In fact, it's not even just a belief, it's the way the market works. Markets move because of demand. Demand drives price, and that of course is correlated to supply, but the main thing is demand. Because if you have, let's say you have 1 million tokens, okay? If you have, let's just remove all our drawing tools so we're not, let's say you have 1 million tokens of something, okay? If there's a lot of demand for that thing, then yeah, the price of it will be worth a lot. That's why Bitcoin is worth so much money, is because there's a lot of demand for it, but there's only going to be 20 whatever million Bitcoin ever in the entire world. So supply does matter, but the main thing is demand, because if there's a lot of demand for something but there's a big supply, it just means the price will be less. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden, like people try to use, what I'm trying to get at here is that people try to use the argument, for example, that if something has a high supply, that it's automatically going to not pump, like it's a bad investment because the supply is so high. But that's totally a myth, because the price of the asset is perfectly correlated to the demand. So, you could have something go up. You could have something go up like 10,000%, for example. You could have something pump 10,000%, but it could be worth like a penny, but it pumps 10,000%. The reason it's only worth a penny is because there's like 60 billion of them. So that's why I tell people, like, don't worry about supply that much. Just worry about whether there's demand for something. Don't look at something and say, oh, there's 60 million tokens. I'm not going to buy that thing because 60 million tokens, there's too much of a supply. So the demand isn't going to be there. No, the demand isn't dependent on the supply. The demand is dependent on other factors, like whether there's good marketing, whether people are excited about it. The demand has literally nothing to do with the actual, like the demand in the market has nothing to do with the supply. Like you could have a massive supply, but if there's a bunch of demand, the price could still be worth a lot, or it could go up 10,000%. So I try to tell people, don't get too caught up on, oh, look how many altcoins there are. It's no longer a deflationary asset anymore. There's too many altcoins and stuff. Well, you guys, yeah, there is a lot of altcoins, but fact of the matter is that demand drives price. So as long as there's still real demand coming into crypto, and if you look at crypto in the big picture, crypto does look like it's ready to pump. Like there's more demand ready to come into the market, So yeah, crypto will probably keep pumping, and when it keeps pumping, then we're going to see an increase in demand. And even if there's more coins that get released, even if there's more supply that gets created, so long as there's demand, you're going to see the price go up. So demand is the fundamental, like, building block, the most important thing in the entire list of factors that causes a market to go up or down. It really is dependent on demand. And to be honest with you, most of that demand comes from human emotion, psychology. We're just psychological creatures. We do things based on psychology. And so if we can understand the psychology of the market and find out where people are buying or where people are selling or where people are too greedy or fearful, then you can position yourself to make a lot of money in the market. Because if you buy when the perceived value of something is low, but there's still demand for that thing, you're going to make money. Like, crypto has pulled back recently, right? We had a pullback on the total crypto market cap from 4.2 trillion down to 2.13 trillion, right? So we're lower than we were before, but the demand for crypto is still like pretty high. In fact, the use case is what drives the demand for crypto, is how useful it is. So crypto right now is actually undervalued in correlation to the demand and correlation to how much demand there is in the market for crypto. And so we're undervalued, but the demand, like, nothing fundamentally has changed. So that's why I tell people, buy the dip, because if you have something that has real world demand, like you've got something that has a real world use case for it, the demand is going to continue to grow over time. So fundamentally, your job is if there's a real world use case for something, the demand is going to grow over time. So the price is going to grow over time. So fundamentally, your job is to buy the dip. Buy wherever the dip happens. If you look at Apple right here, Apple had real world demand, right? So Apple kept growing in a very profound way. If you look at Apple had a dip right here. Apple had a dip right here. Apple had a dip up here. Obviously, you're never going to be able to call every single one of those drops in an uptrend. The purpose, as an investor, as a trader, your goal is not to try to call every single move in the market. Your goal is to try to position yourself when psychologically people are being irrational. They're selling. Because psychologically, people will sell in the dips, and people will flip bearish, and they'll have news, and they'll have all these reasons that they believe the market's going to go lower in the dip, right? So psychologically, people get fearful in the dip. Well, the pump comes after. So your job as an analyst is to position yourself in the dips, to buy the dip, to buy every dip along the way. And even if you don't call some of them, even if you miss some of them, if you keep buying those dips and you keep believing in the uptrend, because here's the thing, the market moves because of demand. Like I said, there's real world demand for crypto, and it's not going anywhere. I don't care who you are, what you believe, crypto is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's like the internet. The jack is out of the box. The only thing that's going to stop crypto from becoming a big thing, in fact, nothing's going to stop crypto from becoming a big thing, but the only thing that's going to ultimately stop crypto is when something better gets invented. And you're talking about a long way out. You know, crypto is early enough in its trend here. If you're looking at Apple on the right, and if you're looking at the total crypto market cap over here on the left, crypto is early enough in its uptrend here that you're talking about 10, 20, 30, 40 years until somebody invents a better system than blockchain. Obviously, blockchain is going to keep improving over the next 30, 40 years. But for crypto to be replaced, that's a ways out. There's a big window of opportunity. Well, it's still early. You can be an early adopter of the new technology before it becomes mass adopted by the public. That's really what we see here with the total crypto market cap is an opportunity to buy into crypto early on. So your job isn't to try to call every single drop or every single little move in the market. Do your best to try to predict the market. Yeah, do your best, but your job is to buy the dip. Your job is to buy right here. Your job is to buy right here. Just like people that bought 2008 on Apple, or people that bought 2003, or people that bought the bottom of this correction right here. That's your job. If you want to make money, which is the reason I do this, then your job as an analyst is to find the dip and buy it. Not to predict every single move, though sometimes you will see bearish divergence, sometimes you will see things that are clearly a topping signal where you have to take profit and get out in the short term or whatever. But ultimately, your main focus, what you should really be focused on, is just zooming out and buying every dip you possibly can. That's how you're going to make money. That's how people in the stock market have been getting rich for the past 100 years. Go look at the stock market. Like, look at the Dow Jones. You think the people that made money on the Dow Jones were not people that were skeptical of the uptrend. The people that made money on the Dow Jones were people that fully trusted with all of their heart that every dip will be fully recovered. And that's exactly what happened. If you look at the Dow Jones here, look at this monstrous uptrend that formed here on the Dow Jones. In fact, let's compare this to crypto. Because uptrends are really all the same. Even I popped up this second chart right here so I can throw the total crypto market cap on. But if you look at Apple here on the right, Apple, I mean, it looks like the Dow Jones too. You know, uptrends look the same. They have differences, but essentially they're just a series of higher highs and higher lows. They get steeper and steeper and more parabolic and more crazy as it goes on. And so you can see Apple on the right and the Dow Jones on the left. But let's pull up crypto on the right instead. Let's pull up the total crypto market cap and throw it over here on the right. And if you look at the total crypto market cap right here, I mean, to me, when I look at the total crypto market cap, the way I look at this is I think of, hey, I'm going to buy every dip I possibly can. Because to me, the total crypto market cap is doing exactly what the Dow Jones did as it bottomed out after the Great Depression right here and started this massive uptrend where it really expanded up into a new all-time high. And that's exactly what I believe is coming for the total crypto market cap. So the people that made the most on the Dow Jones were not people that were betting on recessions, were not people that were betting on long extended bear markets, but they were people that were buying every single possible dip and trusting the uptrend, trusting that the Dow Jones has a real value proposition, which it does. It's the U.S. stock market that greatest economy in the entire world, at least for now. China sometimes looks like it might take over, but the US economy is very powerful, very strong. So the Dow Jones has a real value proposition. So the people that made the most money on the Dow Jones were just buying the dips. They were buying every single dip they possibly could the whole way up for as long as they can. And those are the people that made the most money. And if you look, every single one of those dips got fully recovered. And I definitely wouldn't want to try to fight that. And this is what I feel like is coming for crypto, is a big, real adoption. Obviously, nobody knows how big the percentage will be, how high it will go, how many trillions in total crypto market cap will reach. But what I fundamentally believe with all of my heart, all of my soul, is that crypto is ready to do that type of an expansion where it really breaks out and just totally blows people away, expanding and expanding and expanding over time. That's what I fundamentally believe is coming for the crypto markets. And if you look at the Dow Jones, you can see what that looks like, where all of those dips just kept getting bought over and over. And that's really fundamentally, like I said, what I see coming for crypto. If you look right here. So I try to tell people all the time in my live streams, try to tell people, stay focused on the big picture, ignore the news, ignore the short term, ignore all of the noise. Just focus on this, right? Focus on the big picture uptrend. Focus on this chart, because this chart is the chart that is going to, help you get a better understanding of where to buy and where to get out of the market based on what I see in these markets, which is a series of higher highs and higher lows forming, very similar to what's happened in other big uptrends like Apple, like the Dow Jones, before they really went to the moon in a profound sort of way. To me, total crypto market cap looks like this, right? In terms of where it's at in its cycle. We looked at Apple, we looked at the Dow Jones. You can see how all of these uptrends start with a series of higher highs and higher lows. Then after you get those higher highs and higher lows, then you start to go steeper higher highs and higher lows and go properly parabolic. And for me, if you just look at the charts, if you just line these two charts up, to me it's pretty easy to see that crypto looks like it's right here. Crypto looks like it's in this early phase before crypto really takes off all the way up to a new all-time high in a very, very profound, parabolic, proper bull run, adoption. So that's what I see. That's what I'm trying to wake people up to in these streams. That's why I've been so consistently posting on YouTube, talking about the big picture over and over and over again, and making these live streams, because my goal, my purpose is to educate you guys for the truth of what the market is actually doing. I have a mission statement for my high altitude investing business. And in that mission statement, I specifically say that my purpose, the goal with these live streams, is to essentially give you guys the honest truth, like what I see in the market, what I believe is truly going to happen. In other words, I want to bring you guys into the light, right? I want to take you guys away from the darkness of all of the lies and all of the ignorance out there that's trying to, basically convince you that the market's going to do one thing. And based on my understanding of the market, I'm trying to bring you into what I believe is the light. And for me, what I believe is the light is that crypto is really preparing to do this type of a growth. It's really preparing to do that type of a big parabolic run, just like what happened to the Dow Jones. That's the light based on my understanding of these markets. And I'm actually very confident that this is what's going to happen. But, I have friends, people in my life, other people that have different opinions, different views. And I respect those opinions and those views of the market. So people look at the market differently. But this is what I truly believe, based on my analysis, that's what's going to happen. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own way of looking at it. But to me, it looks pretty clear. So my goal is just to share what I see. Take it or leave it, accept it, reject it, understand it's my opinion, but I believe it's an opinion based on a lot of evidence that's very strong. So it's a well-grounded opinion. It's a well-informed opinion. It's a well-educated opinion. But everything at the end of the day, people just have their own opinions about what the market's going to do or anything in life. They have their own opinion about it, So I do believe we will get a big parabolic run on the total crypto market cap based on this setup right here. You can just see, look, it just looks so similar to that early day uptrend on the Dow Jones or even on Apple as well. So I've seen people have been sending requests and even donating. So thank you so much for the donation, AJ. I appreciate the $4.99. And yes, 100%, I will do analysis on Bell's coin for you. So let's pull up Bell's coin here. Bell's coin. Let's see here. It's on, if I remember right, it's on CoinEx, where we normally do it. Yeah, there we go. Maybe. Maybe not. Is this the right one on CoinEx? Sometimes we do this and I forget where we do our analysis. I'm pretty sure last time we talked about it was here on CoinEx. So if you look right here, so one of the things I'm trying to teach in these live streams is how to find where you're at in the cycle, because all of these cycles pop up at different points. So you'll get one cycle that's at a different phase of the cycle, another cycle, they're all lined up together, but because different coins get added at different times on the exchanges, you will get different points in their cycle. So let me illustrate. This will be better if I illustrate. So, for example, all of crypto in 2021 did a big pump followed by a big correction in 2022, right? So it did a proper bubble. Crypto did a proper bubble in 2021. And so if you go look at the different crypto charts, some of those coins got released, they got added to public exchanges, right here. So a lot of those coins, if you look at those coins around 2021, a lot of them don't even have this pump leading up to the top of the market. A lot of them, if you look at the chart, just have this pump followed by this huge drop like this. Well, it's not like these charts are hard to understand what's going on. You just have to understand that all of crypto was overvalued in 2021. So any coins that got added to exchanges in 2021 are going to just fall off a cliff. And in this case with Bell's coin, this was obviously, you see this is a pump right here in 2024 when crypto was pumping really hard in 2024. But it's the same thing. Crypto is all in 2024, crypto was overvalued at the top of a cycle. We're at a short-term peak with crypto. So any coins that got added at different phases of the cycle, the entirety of crypto is going to be overvalued at the peak here in 2024. So even though Bell's coin got added pretty much right here in terms of the market cycle, that's how you have to look at these charts, because sometimes you get the full cycle, right? Sometimes you pull up the chart and there's just a perfect market cycle, the pump leading up, the parabolic run, the correction, everything, and it's just super clear like this. But sometimes all you have is the drop, because that coin got added at the top of a crypto bull market. So you just only had an opportunity, it only had time enough to just fall off a cliff because it was at the top of a crypto bull market. So here with Bell's coin, if you want to know how to understand Bell's coin, just look at it and you'll see, oh, well, in 2024, all of crypto was at the top of a short-term bull market. We're at the peak of one of those parabolic runs, right? And Bell's coin was at the peak right here. So this is clearly the euphoria phase on Bell's coin. So what does that make this right here? Well, it makes it the depression phase of the cycle if the euphoria phase was over here in 2024 at that peak for crypto. So that's why I tell people, learn how to line up the charts. Understand, well, all of crypto was in a bubble in 2021. All of crypto was in a short-term overvaluation bubble, whatever you want to call it, in 2024 at the peak right there. So if you're looking at these charts and you're trying to understand where it's at in the cycle, well, go look at the other charts and say, oh, well, this one was at the peak of its cycle in 2024, and use all of the charts to get a better understanding of the cycle across the board. You know, because some of these charts are going to get added to exchanges at different phases. So they're going to look like there's only a drop, or there's only a pump, or there's only whatever, you know. So just you have to understand the context of the cycle to help you position the chart. So here with Bell's coin is at the bottom of this correction here, the very bottom of that bear market, of a proper crypto bull and bear market. So buying Bell's coin down here, if we pull up another market cycle, let's pull up another cycle over here on the right. Let's use Bitcoin, actually. We'll use Bitcoin in this case. So if you look at Bell's coin right now, Bell's coin is at the bottom of a cycle, right? If we were to line these two charts up like this and just kind of look at the market, okay, well, yeah, Bell's coin had a little bit of a different kind of pump right here, but it's still a pump, just like what happened right there on Bitcoin. And yeah, it had a big drop off a cliff and everybody's probably super bearish, but that's what happened to Bitcoin too. So if you can kind of help line up the charts where you're getting everything in alignment, that's the goal. To be a good analyst, you want to have everything in proper alignment, whether it's the charts in terms of their cycles, or whether it's even just like your MACD bullish divergence lining up with a double bottom or something like that. You want to get as much truth, whatever is true in the market, and align it. You know, align everything up. You want to basically get as much data that's true data and align that data up to give you a good idea of, oh, that data is telling me it's going to go up, or oh, that data is going to tell me it's going to go down. So you're basically gathering data, whether you're looking at indicators, price action, cycles in the big picture. You're gathering data and you're trying to get as much confluence, as much stuff to line up as possible. And of course, you're looking at other scenarios too to determine the high probability scenario and the low probability scenario. So you might have some data telling you the market's going to go down. You might have some data telling you the market's going to go up. Well, you've got to determine what data is more probable. What is a higher likelihood of actually happening? Is it a bearish move or a bullish move? And really the way to take away most of the noise in the market is to zoom out, and then all of a sudden your data will line up better and you'll get more meaningful signals for your crypto investing. So that's my view on Bell's coin. As far as targets go, because I know you asked for targets as well. As far as targets go, I think it'll do something similar to what happened here on Bitcoin. Right, let's remove our drawing tools like this. So as far as targets go, I think it will go parabolic up here like this, up towards $5. I could see it hit $5 or $3, somewhere up here. You know, just like how Bitcoin went up to a new peak from the bottom of its cycle right here. So if we just pretend that this right here is right here, you can see Bitcoin went parabolic up towards these new area of new all-time high in the price discovery up here. So that's price discovery on Bitcoin up here towards 50,000 per coin. Well, Bell's coin is set up to do the same thing. Bell's coin is set up to pump up towards a new all-time high, a new area of liquidity that's at the bottom of the cycle, and I think it's very probable the Bell's coin ends up doing something similar to what happened to Bitcoin here, where it pumps up towards these area, a new all-time high, a new area of liquidity, a new area, even though it's price discovery, so there's never been liquidity there before, a new area where there's a lot of, you know, liquidity in the market. So I would think $5 could be 100% possible here for Bell's coin. Tam, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. Hash beat cash says Apple and Amazon had a lot of FUD for many years too. Yes, they did. Apple and Amazon were both. People were so skeptical. Here's the thing about new technologies. People are always skeptical of new technologies, okay? If you go back in time, you try to go back to, it's like, for example, if you try to go back to the Stone Age and you brought your iPhone with you, like, they're going to beat you to death, you know? Like, that's what happens when you try to take new technologies back in time. People don't understand. And so people are always that way with new technologies. So like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, just anything that's like new and different, it takes time before people accept it. There's a rollover period. It's actually called an S-curve. So if you go to Google and type in S-curve, there's a point where the demand goes so high that it rolls over, where all of a sudden enough people know about it where it's basically impossible for it not to spread across the entire population. That's what adoption is. It's called an S-curve, and if you add it to the chart right here, just add one to the chart, you can see, if we zoom in on this, around right here, it switches from being something that just nerds, the institutions, the smart money people have been buying, into something that everyday people are using. So that point where like 30%, 40% market share, it starts to roll over, and that becomes something that's never going to get, it's never going to go away until it gets replaced by something bigger and better, by a new technology. So what happens actually, what's cool about the world that we live in today, is we have S-curves like this of a new technology. That new technology inspires a new technology, and out of that S-curve, we get another S-curve like this, and then we get another S-curve like this, and this is what happens to new technologies. One technology makes it possible for a bunch of new technologies to be invented, and then you wonder, well, how did we get so much technology in today's world? Well, it started with the snowball effect starting at the Industrial Revolution, right? And it's still happening. And crypto wouldn't exist without home computers and the internet. So there's always an S-curve. And with Apple, with Amazon, they, in 2008, they were like where I have this green line drawn right here. You see this green line? Or the green arrow, I guess. Amazon and Apple in 2008, that's where they were. They were at that point where it was just getting ready to roll over into mass adoption. So that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, this is my view for crypto. This is what I really truly believe is going to happen. Let's pull up the total crypto market cap here. Let's go to the 20-day time frame. If you look at the total crypto market cap, you know, and then let's pull up Apple again on the right. Actually, let's use the Dow Jones. I just like the fractal a little bit better. If you look at the Dow Jones over here on the right and the total crypto market cap over here on the left. Now, in the case of Dow Jones, we can't really use the S-curve analogy because we're not talking about a specific technology. But Apple looks pretty similar right here as the Dow Jones does. So I could have used either one, to be honest with you. So what I see coming here with the total crypto market cap is a pump all the way up to a new all-time high, like this. But the point where we're at in the cycle is that point where it's getting ready to roll over, where we're getting ready to roll over. The momentum is going to build up so much that it's going to become adopted by the public. So for me, crypto's like right here. It's getting ready to roll over like the S-curve to where it really starts to go up. The S-curve, you know, we're like right here, like I said. Let's make this, let's just go like this. We'll move this over here. Take our paintbrush tool. We're like right here, okay? So we're really getting ready to go up this S-curve in a pretty profound way. And when it does this, when it goes up this S-curve in a really profound kind of parabolic sort of way, then crypto is going to go into the mass adoption phase, just like what happened to Apple computers at the same point in its cycle, just like what happened to the Dow Jones as it rolled over, even though we're not talking about new technology, specific technologies on the Dow Jones. So if you look right here, Apple on the right, total crypto market cap on the left, you can see that point right here is that same point in the S-curve. That's the same point of the cycle where we're really ready to go parabolic with the total crypto market cap, just like what happened to Apple, just like what happened to Microsoft, just like what happened to Amazon. We're really getting ready to do that. Hey Dallin, exciting times ahead. I agree with you 100%. We have some very exciting stuff coming in this market. Did Algo break out of a falling wedge? Let's check it out. Let's see. Algo. So yeah, you guys, just keep working on it. Keep investing, keep buying the dip, because if you guys stay focused on the big picture, if you stay focused on the big picture growth that's coming for crypto, then you guys will be all right. But if you get too fearful, if you start selling all your crypto down here when it's really undervalued, it's going to end up being something you really regret doing. Did Algorand break out of a falling wedge? No, not really. I mean, there's a little wedge if we zoom in right here. Yeah, we kind of did actually. If we zoom in right here at the short-term price action, then yeah, we did break bullish out of a wedge right here for Algo. So I think we could go like this, start to push up like this, up to our resistance over here, because we broke bullish out of this wedge. But the first thing I would look at with Algo is not the falling wedge pattern. The first thing I'd look at with Algo is this big picture cycle here. This is what I care about. The reason I care about this so much is we pull up Algorand over here on the right, and let's throw, I don't care, let's use Bitcoin again. Bitcoin USD. If you pull up Bitcoin USD over here, and you keep Algorand over there on the left, right? Same type of thing that we were looking at with that other crypto chart. You can see in terms of the cycle, Algorand is like right here, right? That's the most important thing to me. I could care less what's happening in the short term. The most important thing for me is this right here. The fact that Algorand is at the bottom of a cycle. It's at the bottom of a bear market. And so that we should see something like this. And that's what I care about. That's the thing that I'm always trying to bring home into people's minds. This is also why a lot of times people will say stuff where they're like, Dallin, there's no way the crypto will do that. Well, most people, when they're watching crypto channels, when they're watching stuff about crypto, they're thinking very short term. They're thinking, oh, what's going to happen next week? What's going to happen in the next month? And so because of that mindset that they have, where they're thinking very short term, very immediate gratification, they forget what's happening here in the big picture. They forget, the bigger scope of what's going on. And so people will say stuff like, Dallin, why are you so bullish? Like, you don't make any sense. It almost seems foreign to them. Like if you were to, like I said, take new technologies back in time or something. It seems crazy to tell people that the markets are going to pump again in a profound sort of way, because everybody is looking at that short-term price action and they're all saying, you know what? I think that this thing is just going to keep going down, or I think this thing's going to go up, or whatever. And they're not thinking about these big picture moves. But to be frankly honest with you guys, the most profitable moves that I've ever made with crypto have been the big pumps, buying the dip before a big picture market cycle happens, and then buying the dip again before another big picture market cycle happens. That's been the most profitable thing for me to do. It's not been trading in and out in single days or whatever. Obviously, I have made good money doing day trading in the past. It's not something I do a lot, But it is something I am confident and comfortable doing. Is day trading kind of stuff. But for the most part, the big picture has been what's profitable. The big picture is how I make money. That's what I like in 2021 and 2017. Those were both like really profitable times, and a little bit in 2024 as well, but especially in 2017 and 2021. So that's the move that I'm looking at. That's what I'm trying to snipe in these markets, is to look for that bigger move, that big pump in the market. So that's why I'm always on these 15-day time frames, and that's why I'm always comparing the big picture cycles together to let you guys know, like, hey, this is going to happen. First Man 4430 says, what up, Dallin? Well, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. Benny Davis says, hey, Dallin, exciting times ahead. Well, thank you for tuning in, Benny. I appreciate you tuning into the stream. Tech Dude says, yeah, it happens. He gets so focused on our bright futures. I do, bro. I get so focused on the charts, I get talking about what I think is going to happen, and I totally forget about the live chat. So, audio great now, enjoying your analysis. Well, thank you. Do you see PTGC pulling back? I'm looking to accumulate more here. I honestly doubt it. Like, I really don't believe most stuff will pull back. Like, the market doesn't look bearish to me in any way whatsoever. If we pull up PTGC here on Deck Screener, PTGC, if you look at it, it's actually still pumping. It's actually pumped quite a bit off the lows since the last time we talked about it on the channel, since the last time you requested. I believe it was you that requested for me to do analysis on it. So it's really like, honestly, it's looking like it's ready to just keep pumping here. Like, I don't think that if it does pull back in the short term, the lowest I could see is maybe like 0.001063. Like, just like a little pullback here, something like, let's go like this. Something like maybe like this. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll keep pushing up through, because here's what happens in markets. If you're focused on the big picture reversals, if you look right here, here's a big picture correction. So if you're looking at the big picture reversals, when the market does turn around, when the market does pump off of the bottom of those big picture ABC corrections like that, it's like a bunch of pressure getting released. Like, think of a soda can getting shaken up all crazy, and then all of a sudden just popping. And there's all this release and pressure. And that release and pressure is so powerful that you don't get a lot of pullbacks. That's what a proper short squeeze is. Like, let's look at Bitcoin, okay? Let's pull up Bitcoin. In fact, this is what I expect to happen for the entirety of crypto, is exactly what I'm describing here. So if you look at Bitcoin right here, Bitcoin, when it broke out of this bear market right here, look how hard it pumped. And it didn't even really pull back. It just basically just straight pumped after it broke out. Well, that's because it shifted from a big picture bear market into a big picture bull market, and that's a pretty profound, momentous type of move. And so, of course, you're going to get a big run in price. Duh. You're going to get that big type of run in price because it's a big shift in momentum from a bear market to a bull market. So that's why I tell people, hey, in the big picture here, stuff like PTGC, if you're looking at this thing, this is shifting from a big picture bear market into a bull market again. It can easily do a short squeeze. It could go all the way up to wave B, just like how Bitcoin went all the way up to this area right here. It could easily go all the way up to that area, all the way up to wave B with PTGC. So I tell people, keep your focus on those big picture reversals and just accumulate, because those are the ones that are really profitable. Especially if you can get a move like this. Like, if you can ride all of 2017, or you could ride all of 2021, like this. Those are the moves that change your life. Those big pivots where the market's pivoting from a big picture bear market to a big picture bull market again, those are the moves that are so profitable. That's why I tell people, buy the dip. Even if you buy the dip right here and it goes down another 50%, just buy the dip again. Those big picture pivots are the most profitable pivots in the market. Those are the most effective places to buy. So just buy the dip, buy the bottom of those big picture bear markets, and you'll be okay. Like you'll be all right. Buy the big picture dip. And people talk about, oh well, the bear markets are always 70%, 80%. Nobody knows how big the bear market will be. Nobody does. It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody knows. I believe it's over. Based on all of the technical analysis that I see in the markets, I firmly believe the bear market is over. But it's not necessarily about how deep the correction is going to be. And it's a lot more about just making sure you're doing the right thing in the dip. Because here with Apple, you can see all of these dips that we had along the way up, they fully recovered. And what's to say that the Bitcoin right now is not at the bottom of one of those dips? Who's to say that it's not? So it's like one of those things where just people are clearly being irrational. People are clearly being super bearish. They're clearly really, basically being perma bearish right now. And so if people are so bearish, if people are freaking out as much as they are, then yeah, it should be a really good opportunity to buy the dip. It should be a perfect opportunity to buy the dip. And that's what we see. So I don't think crypto is going to go any lower. Like I really believe we're going to just come up like this. We're going to go like this. Start to come up off of these lows. Push right up through resistance. Top out again. Of course, at some point, see another correction, and then run it all over again. Just rinse and repeat. That's what this market does, is just rinses and repeats these corrections over and over. But if you're the guy buying the dip along the way down, you're all right. You're going to do okay when it turns around in the other direction. Crypto Durgan says, thanks, I really appreciate it. Great channel. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Cool. I'm going to call it a day. We're an hour and 2 minutes in, so I'm going to call it a live stream. Thank you guys so much for taking time to tune into today's live stream. I know my voice was a little bit quieter today. Normally I'm a little bit more hype, a little bit more punctual. Like I said, I've been up since 3 a.m. in the morning, so I try to, when I do a live stream on the day where I go to the temple, because I do a temple shift every Thursday morning in the baptistry, because I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, so I have this awesome opportunity to be able to go serve in the house of the Lord, in the temple, every morning. But I wake up super early, like 3:30, and so when I'm waking up like super early like that, a lot of times I'll do a live stream later on in the day, and my voice is like, I'm like all sleepy sounding. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos, and as always, stay profitable out there.